For people who like music, Taylor Swift represents the deepest hell imaginable. A never-ending cycle of albums, fawning sycophantic media attention, scarcely deserved accolades, and punishingly relentless mediocrity. Given how despairingly dull her new album is, I'm taking it upon myself to explain to you, in autistic detail, the overwhelming importance of disliking Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift is an outstanding professional businesswoman. She is a great role model and curator of her public image. To many, she is exceptionally relatable. In many respects, she is a good lyricist. But none of that has much to do with what matters most. Does she write classic songs that everyone thinks are great? There's an important distinction to make here between being ubiquitous and being good. Taylor Swift might be everywhere, playing over the sound system while you bleakly nudge along your shopping trolley through the supermarket, or playing in a shopping mall food court, or clogging up the Billboard music and streaming charts. But that doesn't equate to the music being good. McDonald's is the most ubiquitous food outlet, but that doesn't mean the food is quality. Economy of scale doesn't mean cultural worth. Criticize Taylor Swift, and the very first thing a Swiftie will say is, "Just listen to the words to this song," or "Have you listened to the lyrics to this song and the way she describes this or that?" But that's the lyrics. The lyrics aren't the music. The music is the music. The chord progressions, the melody, the harmonies, the musicianship, the arrangement. This is the number one problem. Taylor Swift's fans and the music media are more interested in her emotional personality than her merits as a composer. Her symbolism and cultural significance long ago eclipsed her actual talent. In fact, her cultural significance is more her aesthetic than her music.
Manufactured and commercial, dreary and lame. By now, all my records all sound the same. But if I keep throwing in cultural references, keep triggering all the algorithmic preferences, my army of pubescent and adolescent fans will keep eating up this vapid, empty nonsense across the land. Here I am again. I won't let you escape.
The music media hardly talk about her songwriting at all. Instead, they reflect on where she's at in her life, the themes and milestones and pushback against criticism in her music, her cultural voice. Taylor Swift has made herself too big to fail, the BBC says of her new album, which is a long socio-cultural take, looking at the bigger picture of Swift's profile and cultural impact, which has nothing to do with whether the songs are any good. The album is an immaculate act of damage control, the Los Angeles Times asserts, placing the album in the context of her image and persona and the bigger picture of her cultural and personal framing, which has nothing to do with whether the songs are any good. Swift sings of love, sex, and Travis Kelce, Vanity Fair says, looking at the album's attitudinal vibe and themes, which has nothing to do with whether the songs are any good. There's no vaccine for Taylor Swift derangement syndrome, Rolling Stone contends, forefronting Swift's status and impact as a cultural fixture, which has nothing to do with whether the songs are any good. If you asked random people, not just adolescent girls or 20-something women, whether Taylor Swift's music has had an impact on them in some meaningful way, how would most people likely respond? Which Taylor Swift songs do everyone, across gender and age, agree are beautiful and powerful classics? If she's been an uplifting or positive influence on impressionable youth, and they've been able to see and hear their self-doubts and personal feelings given voice and expression, that's fine. But that's separate from whether the songs are compositionally good. She wrote a folk genre album, replete with intimate, sensitive, and searching reflections. Sure, but at the level of musical composition and melody, those songs aren't especially good. The reality is, the songs on Taylor Swift's new album, as compositions, couldn't be more boring. But even if an album of hers lands with a thud, the music media will still try to frame that as positive. She must be distracted by the drama of her own life, which comes across sympathetically, even profoundly, in the dud songs themselves, imbuing them, therefore, with an extra significance. Or rising to the top only to find burnout in dud songs is in itself tied up with themes of what it means and takes for her to be a singular icon. And therefore, the theory goes, even the dud songs have a meaning and energy in the very dudness of their dudness. This is where we're at now.
Why do you care who I'm riding and smashing? Why do I still sing about love everlasting? The 99 dude who is giving me a shafting, and how I pick up the pieces by writing another album. Stop me, please. It's become a kind of psychosis. Stop me, please.
The idea of Taylor Swift has left behind the reality of Taylor Swift. Her songs are drearily, achingly insipid to anyone who appreciates melody and melodic invention. The twist of a chord that arrives unexpectedly, the visceral thrill of a melodic line that surprises and stirs. Taylor Swift can't do this. Her music is so bland, it actually brings you down. It's so formulaic, it kind of tires you, because you can guess the chords coming up before she even plays them. Most of her big hits are stitched together through committee with collaborators. 7 of her 12 number ones were written with a couple of other people, usually pop song writers for hire, like Max Martin. The worst indictment of her songwriting is that she uses the most basic and exhausted chord progression. C, G, A minor, F. The most common, dead as dead can be formula. Not in one of her songs, not in 2, not even in 10, but an astounding, soul-crushing, mind-warping 24 songs. Here's an example of that progression, and then me overlaying more of her songs over the top to show the anti-creativity of it.
Still we are again, that little town street. You almost ran the red, 'cause you were looking over me, wind in my hair. Still we are again, on that little town street.
Out there standing,
You almost ran the red, 'cause you were
landing.
looking over me, wind in my hair. Still we are again, on that little town street.
Let me say it again. She uses this worn-out chord progression in 24 songs. It's mind-blowing that such blandness and creative deadness is the hallmark of one of the culture's biggest so-called icons. I mentioned her admirable qualities at the beginning, but what I'm talking about is looking at her on balance. On balance, as a composer and musician, she is mostly mundane, a drag, the epitome of overrated. You might say, but it isn't made for you. Well, Arcane or K-pop Demon Hunters wasn't made for me, but I enjoyed the shit out of those because they were fun and had a great aesthetic. And if she were genuinely good, genuinely a musical icon, she would be able to transcend age and gender through the power of the original and urgent music, the ability to write anthems that are universally beloved. She has never done that. She isn't talented enough to do that. And so, while it might initially seem mean to disparage Taylor Swift, again, look how influential she is, how much of an inspiration. Look how she takes on and rises above her haters. Look how much of a professional and a role model she is. Look how much fun girls have reveling in her music. And remember how many pressures those young women face and how they find respite and comfort from listening to Taylor Swift. Why would you want to be such a meanie, such a grumpy, negative stick in the mud? Maybe you have latent issues and morbid stuff that the trailblazing, fabulous stature of Taylor Swift touches upon. Maybe you have issues with seeing women succeed. Maybe she disrupts some misogynistic, unconscious feelings you have, which find issue in negative takes of a brave and stunning, emotionally rich cultural figure. No, her music sucks. And the extent to which it mostly sucks is underexpressed and has been for years. Her music is so bland, so repetitive, each album heralding another dozen tracks scuffing around in the same old litter box, using the same dead musical tropes and formulas, and perhaps worst of all in the modern age, gradually normalizing mediocrity. That is why you should disparage and criticize Taylor Swift. The ever-widening gap between her music icon status and her actual contributions to music. Taylor Swift is never, ever, ever going to be a true musical great. As the bloke from the Pet Shop Boys said, she is the Margaret Thatcher of pop, more about economics than creativity. And we should never encourage mediocrity or let it slide. And so the onus is on you, next time you're in a shopping mall or supermarket and you hear one of those songs, to openly and heartily tell yourself, yeah, this song sucks. And if there's someone with you, reiterate the key points of this video to them. Otherwise, mediocrity just keeps winning.
I'll make a promise to you. I will do everything that you could want me to do. I'll end my career right here and now and never start anew. If you just help out my number one YouTube hater dude. He lives down in New Zealand. Everything he says, I believe him. He needs more subscribers and financial wins. His name is Echo Chamberlain. And I promise to sing about him on the radio. I promise to perform sloppy fellatio on him if he hits 100,000 subs. Queef upon his face till he can't get enough. So subscribe, you bastards! Subscribe, or I'll record another album.